Okay, this is the QC for the project Old Friends Dog. Am I saying that right? Let me look at the plans again. This one's OFSDS. It appears to be Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. So here's what we're looking at. And I'll go through these build notes real quick. I didn't have any grading over here to give you a good sidewalk or proposed sidewalk. It was on a proposed layer, so you just have line work. They can field fit or do whatever they want there. In those instances, that's usually what we do. And then we got same thing there. We have grades here. We got these contours. That looks pretty good. And so I cut this flat. This is all 557 for this dumpster pad and 557. I believe there's a fence that goes around this, and I don't know if that's actually a curb or just a fence. So I left it. I put a note there so everyone knows, so no one gets confused, hopefully. I don't have any grades here for this sidewalk either, so I don't know how it's tying into the stairs here. There's some stairs right here. And so I just raised it 8500s. I don't know if that's right. I would field adjust those things. These porches, which you might be able to see better on the site drawing. See these concrete, these are porches out here. Wasn't given a lot of grades. I got some around here, but all the grades were a 10th lower, basically either outside the building pad or out here. I just dropped it a 10th, just that way it'll drain. If they want to adjust that, they can adjust it in the field, but that's what I did. It's just one of those things you had to make a call. We got this little area here, area here, area here, this area here. So everything drains away from the building, so at least we have that and working in our favor. And then okay, so this calls for a 537 on the invert elevation on this head wall right here, which is head wall 1. And down here I've got a 535. So oh, I didn't realize my thing was on. Sorry. Hopefully that's not too loud. Let me turn that down. Pause this. Okay, so we got a 535 and it's calling 537 up here, but I went ahead held the 535 because both of these had a 535. CB4 to HW1 and HW1 is 535. So if it does need to go up, I would adjust that. You can key in an elevation in the field. You can do that in your data collector. But I think the 535 it makes sense that it's right. Everything looks good. You got your 4 bay here, 534.4. You need to build this berm. I left this flat right here. So in the model, I'll go ahead and show some of the model now so you can understand what I'm doing here. Okay, so here's the model. I got one flag, but it's outside the limits. So I set a limit on this model because I know it was important. They were talking about limits of disturbance and whatnot. It did put a limit. The limit of disturbance line work is going to shut the model off. So once you run past that, see these actually go further, but that's going to make it to where you don't go past the limit of disturbance line. So you do have your limits there. They wanted to make sure we got these easements in here. And they also wanted to make sure we have our silt fence, which we do. Turn this surface off. You can see here's your silt fence. And so you got all that in there as needed. And here's this sidewalk. So it came out pretty good. Sometimes these sidewalks are a real mess, but this looks pretty good. They cut this curb off here, so I didn't have to tie it into curb. It just, the land's right down on top of this here. It's just got a really bad vertical exaggeration, so it looks a little funny. Let's turn that. So I think this one came out nice. There's just a couple things I had to note, you know, where they don't give you grading out here. As long as it's all draining away and go in the right place, you should be fine. But I left all your line work in here for your buildings because I don't know if you're going to need that. So you have all of this. It's all in there. If you don't want it in there, you can turn the layers off inside your data collect. That's the fastest way to take care of that. Here's the porches. Like I said, I dropped them a 1/10 from finished floor. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this model. And I'll go through a little training here that I'd like to do on these, on the Trimble SCS 900. Except that's going to be whoa, that couldn't be any louder, could it? So I like to just check this just to make sure everything looks right. I like to run through this and show you a few things. Sometimes people don't know about SCS 900. I think that's what you guys are using. This is what your model is going to look like. And like I said, you can turn layers on and off inside your data collector here if you don't want to see all this stuff. And I believe that that is in the settings. No, it's not the settings. Where is that? Is it in the site? Is it in stakeout? Surface. Okay, so this is the part I want to explain. Let me just go through that. Okay, I need to go check these unnamed. Oh, that's okay. So these are all going to be unnamed. I can go name them BLDG or whatever, but all these doors and random line work in here is unnamed. I'll go back and name it and re-export it. I like to have names on everything. But you can go up there, you go to your home button, you go stake, and you can choose that button there on the top right corner. That's where your surfaces are. If it's a roadway file, there will be a road in there to choose from. And then you can pick your line work by name, or you can go to your points, pick them by points, or you can just go here to the screen and pick whatever you want in there. It doesn't have to be a line. It can be this right here, which I think that should be a radius point. Stake. Yep, radius point. So I just want to walk through that, show you where all that stuff is. Reference line log, system info. So you might want to ask Brandon where the layers is. Like it's somewhere quick in here. So it might be right here. Ah, here it is. So you just go to layers and turn building guts off. Accept. And now, yeah, you got your doors. You'll have to turn those off too. So settings, layers. You can see what everything is if you want to turn stuff off and just stake this or that. So I know this is a little longer than normal, but I'm trying to get through these to make sure everyone understands how to use their data collector and make things easier on themselves. Couple other things I want to show. Stake line work. So if I want to pick a line, let's pick something that makes sense. Storm. Here we go. Invert. Which one's this? So it appears to be this one. Or maybe not. 1 second. There it is. So you got your station up here. You can choose. You can type it in. There's options. All these stakeout line options. This is how you do your offsets. You put in a vertical or horizontal, whatever you want. If you're doing subgrade, you can key that in here. You can do that on surfaces as well. But this is how you offset your lines. If you want to go left or right, you know, obviously you have a choice, left, right. If you want to go beyond it, in front of the line or the back of the line, just go -15 because it'll have a station. Or whatever. So this is how you set your interval line start station. If you want the start of the line to be like 100, or you're using a polyline that's used for staking roads, and sometimes people just like to have a center line or road elevated, and they put the station in themselves so they don't have to deal with horizontal alignments. So I won't get too much into that, but so anyways, that's where all this stuff is in here. So that's what your data collector should look like. So I'll go out and name those that I needed to name, but I wanted to go through this QC process, and everything looks pretty good. This one came out pretty nice. I think I got everything they asked for in there. I've got one flag or two maybe. It wasn't anything that was alarming. It was just an adjustment there. Yeah, it came out nice, man. I like the way it looks. This pond's nice and everything looks smooth. There's your OCS system. Your sidewalk lands nicely. And everything looks good. And we don't build, another thing, just I haven't had any issues with this, but we don't build every single ramp or things like that. It would just cost too much. We just leave the top back a curb, except for instances where the curb stops. I'll go out and take that piece out. But we don't, go through and put a wing and all that kind of stuff. It just, it's not cost effective to get these done. It's something they want. We can build anything you guys want. I mean, if that's how they want to get serious, but we just have to charge the extra time. So it's just trying to keep the costs reasonable. But yeah, this looks pretty good. There's a 2D door. Oh, that's the dumpster door. Dumpster pad. Okay, so that will be Old Friend's Dog, and I'm sending it out as soon as I rename that other line work. Have a blessed day and be safe. Thank you.